So this is exercise 4H on dividing fractions on page 228. So we talked about what does it mean to divide. We said it means splitting amongst others. So the total should be the same, but we're seeing how much each, let's say, individual gets. So when we say what does it mean to divide, it's the same as multiplying by reciprocal. So what is reciprocal? For those of you that weren't or are listening to this recording, reciprocal means we're finding the flipped fraction. So let's pick an example of 2 over 7. The reciprocal just means I flip the fraction and I get 7 over 2. Pretty straightforward. Are we okay with that? Yeah. Now instead of saying 2 parts of a total, let's say a cake that slices into 7 pieces, we're saying 7 pieces of cake that is sliced into 2. Now it's a completely different value, so remember that as we move forward. Now what if I have, let's say 15? How do I find the reciprocal of just 15? Taylor. 15 is indeed the same as 15 over 1, which changes into 1 over 15. Can I get you guys to copy this one down, thank you, just in your notebooks, and write the title of reciprocal just over that. So reciprocal, and then copy down this fraction here. 15 over 1 turns into 1 over 15. Any questions about that? All good? Happy for me to continue? Lovely. I'm going to jump straight into an example because dividing fractions are very, very similar to multiplying fractions with one additional step. That's it. Okay? Let's get into it. So, find 5 over 8 divided by 3. So, we know that 3 is the same as 3 over 1. So, I'm going to rewrite that. I'm going to write 5 over 8 divided by 3 over 1. Yes, Brody? Go for it. So, 3 over 1, dividing by 3 over 1. Go for it. Good. Do you guys remember earlier I was saying that dividing by 4 is the same as finding 1/4 of, right? So we flip the sign and we flip the fraction. Or in other words, we change the sign and we multiply by the reciprocal. So what's the reciprocal of 3 over 1? Taylor, you said it's 1 over 3. So I'm going to rewrite it as 5 over 8 times 1 over 3. So I've made this one here a reciprocal. And I've changed the sign from a divide into a multiply. Now, if you wanted to, you could go backwards. It is the same thing. But multiply is a bit easier sometimes. Okay? From there, we just treat it as a normal multiplication. So I multiply the top two, 5 times 1, and then multiply the bottom two, 8 times 3. Hopefully you guys are familiar with multiplying fractions. And we get 5 over 24. Vayon, is that the most simplified it is? Is there any number besides 1 that's a factor of both 5 and 24? No? Okay, I'm happy with it being the most simplified. Sweet. Let's continue. What happens if I have a mixed number? What do I have to change it to? Let's make it into an improper fraction. Farah, can you walk me through how to make this into an improper fraction for me? So 2 and 3 over 11. So I multiply this number and that number, which gives me 22 plus the 3 on top, 25. Do I change the denominator or keep it the same? Good. 25 over 11. Are we okay with that? You guys remember that stuff from earlier in this topic? Now I'm going to write divided by. Now instead of writing 5, what do I write in the Good. 5 over 1. Now I find the reciprocal, which is? Good. 1 over 5. So 25 over 11. 1 over 5. And what do I do to the symbol? Times it. Good. Yes, Taylor? Let's simplify it now. Sweet. So for those of you that don't remember last lesson, you can either simplify now or you can simplify later. Let's do it now. So what number goes into both, let's say 25 and 5? 5. So Key, what's 25 divided by 5? And 5 divided by 5 is? Good. So I end up with the top two numbers, so 5 and 1. Let's multiply them together. So the 5 times by the 1. And the bottom I have 1 times, oh, that's not a 1, sorry, it's 11. 11 times 1, which gives me 5/11. Can I simplify that further, Caitlin? No, I can't, because they are both, but they're both the highest common factor is 1. But also, because the 11 is a prime number, we can't really do much with it. 5 is also a prime number. Thank you. They're both prime numbers, which doesn't really help. So we can. This is the most simplified it is. Any further questions? I reckon I'm going to do 2 more examples, and I'll let you guys get started. Now, before we did a fraction divided by a whole number, what if it's a whole number divided by a fraction? Taylor? Yeah, we do the same thing. So I'm going to write 24/1 divided by 3/4. So hopefully you're very familiar with the idea that whole numbers we can just write as a fraction over 1. Can I get a nod if you guys are okay with that? Can I get more of a nod if you guys are okay? Thank you, thank you. Alright, so do I just simplify now? What do I have to do, Georgina? We have to find the reciprocal, don't we? That's what you're going to say, right? So, I'm going to say 24/1. I'm going to find the reciprocal of 3/4, which is 4/3. And I make that a times. Can I simplify it now? Yeah? What do I do? Taylor? Okay, let's do 3 and 24. Can I do 24 and 3? 24 and 4, sorry? Good. We don't want to do it if they're both on top. So, what number goes in both 24 and 3? 3. 24 divided by 3 is? 3 divided by 3 is? 1. Karake, what number do I get on top? 32 over 1, which is just 32. Are we okay with that? Yeah. Any questions? Okay. So I want you to copy what I'm about to type down. Copy that into your book. Thank you. So when we divide fractions, we step 1, find the reciprocal of the second fraction. There we go. And then step 2, we change the divide into a multiply. Okay? So first thing we do is find the reciprocal, we flip the second fraction, and then we change the divide into a multiply, and we just multiply it from there. Now, I'm not going to do it together, just for the sake of time, but if I have both numbers as a mixed number, what do I have to do? Taylor? Yeah, make them both improper fractions. So you want to try and work with improper fractions as much as possible, and then at the very end, turn into a mixed number. Any questions about that? No? Sweet, I'll let you guys get started on the